Welcome to the California Department of Education Integrated and Designated English Language Development Transitional Kindergarten through Grade 12 video series. Designated English Language Development, building into and from English language arts in Grade 11. In this lesson, students are learning how to analyze and exchange ideas about argumentative texts. They intentionally listen, speak, read, and write in order to build language and discuss how argumentative texts work. Students will use these language resources to accurately demonstrate their understanding of argumentative texts so that when they return to their content area classes, they can be successful readers and writers of the genre. The focal California English Language Development Standards driving this lesson. The English Language Development Standards at the bridging level are grades 11 and 12, Part 1, Standard 1. Exchanging information and ideas, where students contribute to class, group, and partner discussions, sustaining conversations on a variety of age and grade-appropriate academic topics by following turn-taking rules, asking and answering relevant on-topic questions, affirming others, and providing coherent and well-articulated comments and additional information. And grades 11 and 12, Part 2, Standard 1. Understanding text structure, where students apply analysis of the organizational structure of different text types to comprehending texts and to writing clear and cohesive arguments, informative and explanatory text, and narratives. Watch how students move from early levels of proficiency toward the bridging levels of these English language development standards throughout the lesson. The supporting California Common Core State Standards for English Language Arts used in tandem with the focal English Language Development Standards. The English Language Arts Standards are grade 11 and 12. Reading Standards for Informational Text, Standard 1, where students read closely to determine what the text says explicitly, cite textual evidence when writing or speaking to support conclusions drawn from the text. Grades 11 and 12. Reading Standards for Informational Text, Standard 8, where students evaluate the argument and specific claims in a text, including the validity of the reasoning, as well as the relevance and sufficiency of the evidence. And grades 11 and 12, Speaking and Listening, Standard 1, where students prepare for and participate effectively in a range of conversations and collaborations with diverse partners, building on others' ideas and expressing their own clearly and persuasively. Watch for how these California standards are addressed throughout the lesson. Watch how the teacher leads the students through a series of activities that allow them to analyze the structure of an argumentative text and use academic language and vocabulary to make meaning of an argument. The students first read an argumentative text, then analyze the language of the text to identify the claim, the supporting evidence, and the counterargument.
In your own words, what would you say the objective is for today's lesson? Will you share, Alejandro, what one of the objectives in your words is?
The objective is to identify what is the claim and support the claim with evidence, counterargument.
Yeah, that's one of the objectives. What's another objective, Cynthia, in your own words?
I think it's mostly to understand the different types of text and know how to organize them.
Yes, nice. Well said, both of you. So read paragraph 2, 3, 4, and 5, and what are we looking for, Yahaira?
Evidence and counter argument.
Yeah, and Ernesto, if I find evidence, what do I do to the evidence part?
For the evidence, we're going to use the brackets.
The brackets, good. And for counter arguments, what am I going to use for counter arguments, Cynthia?
Highlight. Circle.
Circles, right? So that you have a feel for what the difference between the claims, the evidence, and counter arguments. Are we good?
There is different type of things of different people because drinks disagree with the groups, yeah. So groups mean like more than one person.
Yeah. So when you look at your text organizer, what you shared, right, was part of evidence, right? Mm-hmm. what you just mentioned right now here, you said that they disagree, right, Ernesto? Where are we on the graphic organizer? Are we in evidence or are we in counter argument?
Counter argument.
What made you say counter argument?
Because it's optional, people thoughts.
Yeah? What do you think?
I think it's the point of view of the author.
Of the author. So is this text, so when we look at this text, the claim, who made this claim that we should limit sugary drinks for teenagers? Who claimed that?
The author.
No, the American.
Oh, the American academic.
Yes.
patriotic.
Right. So that was their claim. You're right, there's an author, right? And he wrote their claim, right? When you look at this and they talk about that they disagree with the group, what does manufacturers mean? The manufacturers of these sugary drinks disagree with the group's position.
Like the companies,
Yeah, that makes them.
the
Right.
people who make the drinks.
So do they agree or do they disagree?
They are disagree because they're gonna lose more money.
Good comment. Good thought.
Claim and evidence. Like this is a claim want to see those drinks. Why? Because it's affecting children, so community and low-income communities.
Yes, I agree with you, but we are looking for like
Codes.
evidence
Okay.
to support our claim.
More evidence? Anybody else found some more evidence?
Yeah, in paragraph 4, like says that consuming too much sugar, especially from sugar drinks, like sport drinks, energy drinks, lead obesity on children and teens, also increase the risk of numerous healthy problems, like for example, heart disease, hypertension, and type 2 diabetes.
Yep.
That support the claim.
It does support the claim, because I think this is important for you guys to understand. Did anyone find a counter argument? Will you say it one more time a little bit louder so everyone can hear it, Ernesto? And we circle it, guys.
The manufacturer of this drink disagree with the group's position about to added sugar and the health concerns it may cause.
Cause. What made you say, Ernesto, that was the counter argument?
Because it's different types of view from different people.
It is a different type of view from different people.
Like people who are agree and disagree with the healthy choices.
Okay. Is there anything else that we can tie to this counter argument that Ernesto shared?
Yes. So the Trader Group of American Beverages Association point out that 50% of all the beverages sold contain no sugar, and they are working to cut the number of beverages calories consumed by 20% by 2025.
Watch how the teacher leads the students to contribute to a discussion about the structure of an argumentative text. The students then use the learned language structures and academic vocabulary to write about what they have learned.
So, will you read that for me? Because I think it's really important. Just that part I can use.
I can use today's learnings to know how to communicate with my peers and know the parts of an argumentative text.
So, it's good to see that it helps you communicate with other people about it, because that's exactly what you guys are going to do in English language arts. And feel free to use these. I think they might have something like it in that class too, just so that you are using the parts, the vocabulary, when it comes to citing evidence or when it comes to doing the claim. Good job. Nice job. Share part of what you learned today.
What first argument text helps me organize my information when I want to read something. I know what's the evidence to claim, and what I learned today is this learning will help me in other classes, like for example history, because we read a lot, and biology too.
Sounds good. Lei, share something from either questions, something you'd like to highlight that part of your learning today.
I say what I learned today is more help me is that I can read an argument text more like better in the like right way.
Okay.
Instead just like reading normally and I don't know what part is what. Today I learned like this structure of the text and that can help me in a lot of different classes.
So what is the structure? How would you say in your own words, like when we look at an argument text, what is the structure? Like how is it built?
I would say at beginning, so the author will usually stand a position in the text,
Okay.
usually set of claims and supporting themselves with few evidence followed by, and before the end, you will usually give out a counter argument, and you will. I think the counter argument is like a part of like the evidence that will support this position better, and at the end, I would say they conclude the whole thing and just restate the evidence, restate the claims again.
Yeah.
Beyond the designated English language development lesson, building into and from content instruction. By engaging in designated English language development lessons such as this one, the students are better prepared and more confident to express their growing understanding of the organization of argumentative texts by identifying claims, evidence, and counter-arguments with diminishing supports.
I guess probably my strongest point would be like identifying like the central idea and whatnot. Like it's kind of easy for me to understand that, or like find like that one sentence that kind of lists the main idea of the article or whatnot, and it just like it helps me like just understand how to connect the evidence together and go from there.
For me, it was like read by myself and try to find the claim and how I'm gonna support with evidence from the text.
Reflection and discussion. Reflect on the following questions. First, how did you observe the following focal English language development standards and supporting content standards being implemented in this grade 11 designated English language development lesson? English language development, part 1, standard 1, exchanging information and ideas. Part 2, standard 1, understanding text structure. English language arts reading standards for informational text, standard 1 and standard 8, and speaking and listening, standard 1. Second, what features of designated English language development did you observe in the lesson? Now pause the video and engage in a discussion with colleagues. The California Department of Education would like to thank the administrators, teachers, and students who participated in the making of this video. This video was made possible by the California Department of Education in collaboration with WestEd and Timbre Films.